Okay, live streaming is starting. Okay, it looks like we're live on YouTube as well. I think we can get things started. I think a few more people have joined online. So welcome everybody. My name is Ray Paik. I'm a community manager at PinkCap based in the Bay Area, and honored to have once again my colleague Xin Shi, who is a product manager, uh, one of the lead product managers at PinkCap and responsible for TiDB Serverless. So great to have you on the call again today. Appreciate your time. And before I let you introduce yourself, Shin, if you can just advance to the next slide, and I'll just go over the quick logistics, and then we'll go to the main event. For those of you who are not familiar with Zoom webinars, there's a Q&A button at the bottom that you'll see. I mean, please feel free to post your questions as Shin is presenting. We might, based on the question, we might take breaks here and there to answer your questions if it's a quick one, if that makes sense to answer them, so you don't have to wait until the end. And then also, like the recording will be posted. I mean, this is being live streamed on YouTube, so it'll be available as soon as the meetup event is over. It'll be posted on our TiDB developer YouTube channel, so you don't need to necessarily take furious notes or take screenshots of things as Shin's going along. So recording will be available, so you can refer to it later on. Yeah, once again, anytime you have questions, like if you please utilize the Q&A tab. And without any further ado, I'll turn things over to our main speaker, Shin. Take it away, Shin.
Thanks, Ray. Yeah, nice. Right. As Ray just introduced today, we will be doing a live streaming talk about, why and how build data applications, on top of a TiDB serverless. So for those who don't know me, my name is Xin. I'm a product manager from PinkCap. Basically, I'm working on TiDB serverless service and also responsible for developer experience here. So for today, we have a few agendas. We just finished the introduction about this one, and we will talk about the overview of TiDB serverless, and we will go through some of the things in terms of one of the the example of the data apps on TiDB serverless. That's OSS Insight. We will talk about details about this application later. And we will talk about later how OSS Insight is built on top of TiDB serverless. How what was the journey when we moved from dedicated resource to a serverless architecture. And later on, if anyone want to kind of replica this pattern by yourself, we have tons of developer resources for you to bootstrap. And finally, we will have the Q&A session. So feel free to post your questions. We'll be actively monitoring the questions, and we will reserve some of the time to go through the questions by the end of this webinar. All right, so with that agenda, let me talk about some of the high-level introductions about our product, one of the great products we are having, TiDB serverless. So I guess I don't know, like for me, serverless is already a kind of established concept, and our company is mainly building technologies to empower organizations, empower developers to really iterate fast and make things easier for their business. So so in today's economic situation, what really empowers our customers to compete in this under this situation? So the driving force today, I guess, is a common sense already. So they want their application infrastructure to be reliable, and they want to faster time to market. And also they want to make sure everything is quite reliable and secure by design. And of course, the total ownership is one of the things. Under this uncertainty, under given current economic climate, cost efficiency is super critical. All the customers are aimed to reduce the total cost of ownership, only paying for what they consume, and the saving for the idle time without having to invest or maintain the whole cloud infrastructure. So that is why the serverless adoption is super fast. And from PingCat, from the company, we've been doing TiDB for many years. We actually launched TiDB 8 years ago. And this is now is the most advanced open source distributed SQL database in this competing market. But we have thousands of organizations across different industries like banking, online shopping, gaming, logistics, or Web3, and manufacturing. They are building applications, by leveraging the resilient, adaptable, and reliable and versatile kind of benefits from TiDB. And we just want to make sure this company can continue their success. And we are also thinking, how to expand, how to replicate this success, different types of patterns to empower more developers on this planet. So we offer different types of options for the TiDB deployment today. And earlier this month, we just announced TiDB Serverless GA is a TiDB Serverless now is generally available, and it inherits the best characteristics from the TiDB. And I list a few of the the major benefits here for your information, and we can go through the details one by one. Super quick. So first of all, it's MySQL compatible. You can use your preferred development tools, development language to build up your applications on top of it. And of course, if you have an existing business running on top of MySQL, you can easily migrate to TiDB Serverless with the tools and the best practice already exist in the MySQL community. And it has the built-in. So I have a several screenshot here. You can easily tell from different languages. You just leverage the MySQL library or MySQL connector, MySQL driver. It can easily read the environment variables of the connection string of the TiDB Serverless in the MySQL flavor, and connect to TiDB Serverless with TOS enabled by default. So super straightforward, super intuitive. Just use what you are using today. You can make it happen. Secondly, is about the one of the features we are super proud of. That's HTAP. HTAP stand for Hybrid Transactional and Analytical Processing. So basically, you can run both types of workloads. You can run hybrid workloads, inside this single database. You just trigger the SQL queries, and our smart optimizer determines how to execute it in an optimal way. So here is a screenshot of from our online benchmarking tool. So in the past, if you just leverage or utilize the resource from the RDS database in MySQL, and if you run analytical queries on top of it, TiDB will definitely give you a better performance. There's a 60-something better performance than the RDS single database. So we do have other kind of benchmarking result. Definitely check it out by yourself later. So we will put a link of the benchmark later in this slides. You can give it a try. So next benefit you will get is about the elasticity. So that's the core spirit of the serverless. So TiDB itself is a distributed SQL database. It's a distributed relational database. Our slogan is a SQL at scale. And TiDB Serverless is the next level thing that help you get out of the capacity planning. It automatically scales up and automatically meets your workload demands just in 100 milliseconds, which is quite near real time. And then it can scale down to 0, which means if there is no traffic, you never pay for the idle time. And combining with that, we have our very flexible kind of pricing model is exactly what you need for serverless architecture, pay as you go. You can say how much you want to spend for this particular month by setting up a spending limit. And more importantly, you can start free. We actually provided a very generous free quota, and if you if with your business grows, you can then just pay for the storage and the data processing you use, and you can see the breakdown of your consumption and never overspend with the budget control. And we are also working super hard to think about how to make developers' life easier. So we are actively collaborating with OpenAI to make TiDB servers more accessible. Earlier this year, we announced the chat query, so you can interact with database with natural language. From the screenshot from the recording on the left side, you can see with the natural language, we generate SQL queries in an optimal performance for you to just interact with your database. And later and earlier this month, we also announced TiDB bot. It's a chatbot trained by our knowledge base that built by the global TiDB community. From the chatbot, you can ask any questions, troubleshoot your database issues, learn the best practice, and you can do everything without leaving TiDB web console. You don't need to do Google search again. You don't need to do the context switching. You can complete all the things inside our web console experience. So we are seeing customers actively testing and building different workloads of TiDB Serverless, and why it's so popular, why it's so advanced. That is because we do have a super, I would say, super cutting edge design on the overall serverless architecture. So basically, as many of the serverless database architecture on the market today, the core concept is to decouple the compute and storage separately, and the product team and the engineering team is trying to maintain a resource pool for all types of resources, and we are taking that to the next level. So looking at this architecture map, I just want to zoom in to some of the factors here. So basically, if the request comes to the TiDB serverless service, we have the gateway in front of everything to determine which tenant should be the one, should be the tenant to execute the request. So basically, once we determine, let's say tenant 2 is the one to handle this one, inside this we have a TiDB we have an isolated SQL layer for both TiDB and MPP is actually the compute node for the column storage. That's how we handle both your transactional and analytical queries. So we have optimizer here to determine which compute node your query should run on top of it, and we can actually based on your actual SQL queries, we can, and the traffic and the workload patterns, we can allocate more resources to handle this query, to handle this request. And we can also do in-place scale up to handle big queries. So in this case, you can see it has multiple MPP workers. And if it's a HTAP, it's a HTAP, mixed hybrid workload, it will kind of distribute this one to different types of storage layer. We have a row-based storage engine. We have a column storage engine. So basically, that will handle different types of workloads. And all the engines, we just build everything in a cloud-native way. All different things are stored in a shared storage pool. That's if that's on AWS, that's definitely S3 storage. And the customers will also get advanced features like monitoring, OpenAI, and DDL, everything like a shared service. All these things are also in a shared node. So if you are going to utilize those resources, we will assign those nodes to your tenant, work together with your database experience. So just a quick summary of all the infrastructure thing here. Given we have this, kind of cutting edge design of the TiDB serverless infrastructure, we support real-time elasticity, and we can scale down to 0. And you pay what you consume. And most importantly, I think the one next level thing, we are not only decouple the compute and the storage resources. We are inside the compute. We are decoupling different types of compute engines, and we are also decoupling different types of storage kind of nodes for you, which means that's the next level of granularity for you to save your resource, for us to utilize the resource for you. And you got all the benefits from TiDB HTAP and the super elasticity and the pay as you go, and everything is based on your workload patterns. All the resources assigned in near real time to kind of empower your application. So what does that mean from a user's perspective? So basically, in the past, to build applications with, I would say, data-intensive applications with a database, you have to handle lots of, painful tasks. You have to understand the security, isolation, industry compliance. Not to mention, you have to run daily routine tasks to, maintain your database infrastructure. And sometimes you have to run, updates, security patches, and when traffic comes in, you have a spike traffic, you have some big event, you expect more customers, you have to manually allocate resources and do the scaling by yourself. And now today, with TiDB Cloud, with TiDB Serverless, we will take care of all these things. And for a developer, from your perspective, you just do the most interesting part. You start with the schema design, and you can construct the query. And we do have an OpenAI, the chat query, to help you to make that even easier. And you can start build you just create a TiDB serverless in just seconds and start to do the app development and deployment. You can quickly focus on your business by leveraging the benefits from the TiDB serverless. And all the things I just mentioned can be quickly validated or demonstrated on the TiDB playground. So if you have time, definitely check it out. This is our website. So basically, go to this website. We have a different different categories to learn the characteristics from the TiDB. It can be easily scale out and scale in. We have a real-time kind of a demonstration comparing to RDS MySQL. And it also definitely support MySQL capability, different types of features with real examples here. And personally, I like the most is about the real-time analytics. That's the H-type functionality of the TiDB Serverless. So obviously, you select the different types of things. Here, you just run a real SQL query against both RDS and the TiDB Serverless. You can see the execution time here. It makes such great difference here. So obviously, it easily illustrates the idea. You can use TiDB Serverless as the single database to handle the hybrid workloads for you. So yeah, back to the slides. So I talked too much about the underlying design, the benefits of the TiDB Serverless, and just a quick summary. Given we have those great benefits, given we have a great technology design under it, we are seeing customers from all types of industry running their business together with TiDB and TiDB Serverless. And for now, I'm going to move to one of the concrete example our team is building on top of TiDB technology. That is OSS Insight. So OSS Insight is hard to read. It's hard to pronounce the name, but it stands for Open Source Software Insight. OSS means open source software. And itself is an open source project. You can easily find the repository on GitHub. So we actually started this project last year. We at that moment we are open source company, and we are contributing the open source work. And what we really like that every day for our developers, for all the colleagues here in PingCap, is to learn what is happening on the open source industry every day. So at that moment, we searched for different types of tools, but we didn't find the perfect one for ourselves. And we just had an idea why we don't build something by ourselves. So that's how we started this project. And I think by today, it's super welcomed, tools by different types of customers. So if you are super interested in open source technology, you are passionate about different types of repositories on GitHub, you can definitely come to this website, search for the name, and look at the different statistics and activities of the repository or the technology. And sometimes we got emails we got a request from the organization owners or repository owners, and they are trying to look at the statistic numbers of their own projects and trying to find some insights how to improve their their engineering infrastructure, how to improve in their open source collaborations with the community. They are actively leveraging our website to get the insights in just a few seconds. And also one of the another interesting scenarios we kind of enabled is there are tons of investors trying to find the next opportunities on top of open source technology. So without OSS Insight, they have to hire someone to do the data insights. That actually on one hand costs higher cost, and it takes some time for their data team to construct the query. But now they just leverage our dashboard. They can get the data in just seconds. And we are also collaborating with them to provide data APIs to them. so that they can incorporate those API into their own, analytic dashboard, making better business decision or investment decisions for them. So those are the external target customers we are empowering, we are collaborating today, and we got great feedback from them. But I'm just trying to be very transparent. Another important factor we are building this is to have a test bed for our products. So basically, OSS Insight is kind of the last one of the end-to-end test case in our product release lifecycle. That becomes the test bed of our products. So basically, each time we launched a major upgrade of the TiDB, we will trigger all of our pipelines, and we will test. We will run the test case against OSS Insight, just making sure we don't break customers for each of the major release. And OSS Insight is one of the test bed for it. And that actually also accelerate our own engineering efficiency by having OSS Insight here. I should also show some of the interest numbers here. It's an open source project, so you can see it has a 1.3 thousand stars on GitHub today. That actually proves that it's super popular among the OSS Insight open source industry today. Is a popular tool, and we have 50,000 monthly page views. That's the number we got from Google Analytics earlier today. On average, that's the number we have every month. And how much data we have? That's 12 terabytes. We leverage the GitHub Graph API to fetch the data, and we store them into the TiDB Serverless. And given we have the traffic from different users all over the world, on average we have 30 QPS per second. That's the query per second. From that you can know the average workload we are having, every day. And what are the total cost for the infrastructure, for the hosting? That's $3,000. So I hope these numbers can give you a quick overview of what OSS Insight is, and what's the cost, what's the gain, what's the cost by doing this. So next, I'm going to do a quick demo of OSS Insight. So what you can do is just search OSS Insight, and that's our official website. And I'm zooming a little bit. And of course, you can see from the web page, you can see the trending repos. It has a search box. You can if you want to have a specific developer handler of the GitHub user, you can just type here. Or if you have a repository name, definitely search it for the get the insights. And from the right side, you can see, and from the top, you can see the data comes in real time. And if you want to learn more, we do have a blog post elaborate how we make it that in real time. So from the trending repos, I guess those are the trending repos today. I don't want to go through all of them one by one. And from here, or you can just search on OSS Insight on the GitHub, you can see our repository. So from the repository, I think that's one of the good way to, one way is to just try all the functionality by yourself. But today, given this webinar, I'm going to go through some of the most interesting functionalities that actually captured in the README of the OSS Insight GitHub repository. So first of all, we also, this is OpenAI powered data exploration application. So basically, you can just click one of the examples, go back to this one. You can use natural language to ask questions. I'm going to sorry. So project similar to React technology. So basically, we will understand what does it mean, and we generate SQL queries, and we come up with the different types of front end or full stack JavaScript technology for developers to build either web applications or other types of applications. So yeah, that's probably the data in one day. So you can see the star is not kind of a star number, is kind of relatively low, but definitely try other examples. So basically, you can use natural language to gain the insights in a very intuitive way today. That's one of the features I personally love the most. And secondly, we do have some advanced analytical features for you. So we do have different types of collections. Like I just mentioned, for investors or for project owners, if you want to see what types of categories, one of the specific categories of technology you want to get the insights, you can see what's their trends in the last 28 days. So here are definitely some of the web framework for different types of developers. You can definitely see some of the I would say old gun technologies here, like Django, like Express, and definitely you can see some of the rising stars in the past few weeks. And from there, you can see month to month or latest 28 patterns. And you can see how they move from one place to another in a time series sequence. So yeah, those are the fancy charts, but that's actually gives you a kind of insight. What are the technologies you should pay attention if you want to invest a new project? You can start from here to make technology decisions. And we do have an analytic dashboard for single developers. So as I just mentioned, if you go back to this one and you search for one of the developers, I will search for one of the random users here. You can see, he's a kind of activities in the past few years, and what are their what are the repositories they contribute from the top to the bottom, and what's their patterns during the days of the week, the hours of the day, and what are the start histories, everything about these developers. So if you want to check the statistics for yourself, definitely search for your own name. And there are other use cases. I don't want to go through all of them, but definitely check it out by yourself. Repository analytics dashboard, and you can compare with different projects together. And there are other use cases. You can just try different types of things here. We do have an API. We do have different fancy charts like 3D, 2D charts for you to learn about how to compare different technologies together. So yeah, with that, let's go back to the slides. Let's talk about the technical design of the TiDB Serverless. So how we made this happen. Sorry, I should hit the other button, slide show. Something wrong with Google Slides, technical issues. Let me go back to the slides and hit the button again. All right, sorry for that. So yeah, I think the overall technology design is quite simple. So as I just covered, we want to make developers' life easier. So we don't want to build a super fancy infrastructure for this application. So there are just 4 or 5, I would say, 5 different types of components here. So basically, we are running several microservices on a single EC2 node. So the first one is the crawler. Basically, it will fetch the real-time data from GitHub Data API and store those data into the TiDB cluster. And the next thing is the API server. So basically, we have the front end that's basically running everything on GitHub pages. We just leverage the most popular and already proven front-end technologies, super straightforward. And if user requests something, you will go through to the API server, and it will try to fetch the data from the TiDB. And for some of the queries, like the example I just shared, it might take a long time to finish. So we do have a cache to like an async worker to cache some of the analytic metrics. Is a Node.js microservice. So basically, fetch the data from the TiDB. And if you are running some of the prebuilt prebuilt analytics, you will just try to get the data from the cache. You will get a real-time result. And and also we have the OpenAPI, OpenAI API interactions, basically for the natural language, Q&A part. I just demonstrated. It's quite straightforward. We just call the API from the service. You got you use the natural language, and we come up with the result for you. And one of another thing, we actually have this one with cross-AZ deployments for high availability. Mainly, we want to make sure this service can have a better experience for customers. On the other hand, we are also just to be very transparent, we are also learning the best practice to build applications on top of AWS services together with our TiDB service. And we open sourced all the code repository. We hope that could be a good reference for the developers who want to leverage this pattern, who want to learn how to build similar applications by yourself. Yeah, so the architecture is quite straightforward. Let me talk about what are the unique challenges here. So I'm not sure if you noticed, but from the demo I just demonstrated, one of the unique challenges I think personally I'm super interested in is like what will happen when data applications are combined with AI today. So here are two different types of questions from the real users. So first of all, rank the most popular language. From the SQL query, you can tell, it's actually trying to look up all the different types of repositories and calculate their language tag and summarize all the things together and come up with this bar chart for you. So it takes a long time if you are running everything on a traditional MySQL database. But given we have the column storage, everything is super fast. And most importantly, given we have the smart optimizer, once the query comes in, we will determine which compute node, which storage layer should be the optimal way for you to run this thing. And on the right side, it's actually a very different question. What's the average time for each of the pull requests in TensorFlow repository? So basically, if you can think about how this will be executed in a traditional way, basically, it will try to fetch all the timestamp information from each of the pull requests, and it will calculate the difference from those two different data in the GitHub data repository. The GitHub data set, and later it will do some mathematics to calculate the average time. So it's actually a very typical transactional data kind of query. And from the note you can see, we just come back with you the final result in average hour, and everything runs on top of raw storage, row-based storage. That's our transactional data layer for you to handle these types of things. Again, our developers, if you look at our repository, our developers, they don't need to handle any special logics to determine what types of engine they need to send these queries into. What they are really doing today is just to send this natural language to OpenAI API, and get back to the SQL query with our trained rules, and making sure, and later just send this query into the TiDB Serverless, and TiDB Serverless will automatically determine which unique engine should run this query in an optimal way. So I can definitely click the link to see some of the real-time result here. So here is the exactly from the text here, you can actually tell how we handle these questions in a natural language in natural language flavor. So everything in real time, you can actually see the the actual SQL queries here, and it shows you everything runs on top of column engine, and they illustrate what it really means. And if you want to build similar thing by yourself, definitely there is a button. You can import your own data set. You can get similar things. And if you want to customize a little bit for yourself, for your own business, check the GitHub repository. You can see everything, how everything is implemented there. So yeah, so let's move to the next benefits with TiDB technology, with TiDB Serverless. So as I just mentioned, TiDB Serverless actually started later last year, and we have a preview in November 2022, and we just launched the GA a few weeks ago. And actually, OSS Insight started earlier, than TiDB Serverless. And before that, what we are doing is running everything on dedicated resources, which means the team need to really doing some mathematics calculation, like how many compute resource and how much storage they need for them to run this business, to run this application. So there are trade-offs here. So either you just provision for your average resource. That means if some of the spikes come in, some of the users they probably will see 404, or they will see timeout during the peak hours. Or we provision extra resource for all types of traffic, but we are overpaying for the infrastructure. And that makes us quite struggle. So we made a decision. We pay for average, but if something happens, we will scale out. So with the business growth, with more and more people understand and discover the OSS Insight, we just allocate more resources. And it's quite painful because it might involve some downtime, and we need to make sure doing the migration, we need to make sure doing the scale in and scale out, we need to make sure the data can be handled in a continuous way for business continuity. And earlier this year, actually in March, during the TiDB Serverless preview, we made a decision. We need to move everything to TiDB Serverless. So with that, we just pay for the resource we are actually using. So even with unpredictable workloads, it will scale in real time, and our developers can handle the traffic spikes without the manual intervention at that moment. So that's actually the I would say the benefits of serverless, and most importantly, we cut down of our overall bill of the cloud resources we are using, and definitely, as I just mentioned, lower operation cost. And if you want to learn more about how we do the migration, there is a blog. We talk about some of the details. So given the architecture is super straightforward, how we handle the traffic doing the migration, how we spin down and spin up new resources, how we switch the traffic from one to other. All of the things are covered in that blog post, and definitely check it out. I hope that can be a good reference for you to build data applications. So to summarize, what is OSS Insight and what are the benefits running everything on top of TiDB Serverless? It has huge data volume. That's one of the important thing. If you are running critical business for huge data volume, this is already a good reference. 12 terabytes of data, that's 6 billion rows, and it grows in real time. That's very typical for data-intensive applications. And it has random mixed workloads, as I just shared. With AI comes in, it's more random. It's kind of a hybrid, and even more hybrid than the past. And we have the smart optimizer placement rules for users to to handle everything without the actual basic logic in your code. And also, given we have a real elastic thing in real time, it can handle unpredictable traffic. I think this story has been shared many times. This OSS Insight has been featured on Hacker News many times. And in April, we have ranked on the top page. And on that day, we have 7 times traffic. And our engineers, they just relax and sit down, and they no manual intervention, and everything worked smoothly during that day. And most importantly, the overall developer efficiency has improved a lot by utilizing the serverless technology. That's basically the summary of the TiDB Serverless, OSS Insight, and how everything works together, and what are the benefits, and the most importantly, I put the link here. So definitely check it out if you want to build something by yourself. I hope this one can be a good reference, good scaling term for you to bootstrap your business. So with that, we do have actual developer resources today. So TiDB, not sure if you're familiar with the name. I like the name a lot. TiDB actually stands for Titanium database. If you're thinking about titanium, titanium is actually the most bio-friendly material for humans. So I'm thinking about a metaphor. We hope TiDB can be a good blocking block for all types of developers. So just like titanium in terms of biology technology. And we aim to create a service that easier for developers. So we want to meet where developers are. So we work with partners like Wasel, Netlify, Terraform, Zapier to meet where you are. And we hope you can find TiDB Serverless, TiDB everywhere, and it can boost your development efficiency. And we do have documentation, we do have developer hub, we do have our online courses for you to get familiar with TiDB, to learn about TiDB. So, and we do have our Slack channel, we do have our YouTube channel, Twitter account. If you have any questions, just reach out to us. We are more than happy to help you. All right, so with that, that's almost everything I want to share about with you guys today. Let's check it out. If we have any questions, we can help answer.
Thanks very much, and went through a lot of good material. We did get a lot of questions. I mean, a few of them I answered online. I think one of the questions was about when was the serverless offering first available? I mean, obviously it GA'd last week, but it's been a preview mode since I think November 2022. Shouldn't correct me if I'm wrong. And then the next question was about comparison between like a serverless and hosted offer. The best place to start for that is to go to Get Started page. If you go to pincap.com, there's a Get Started button all the way to the right. That shows your pricing information in addition to features. Hopefully that answers your question. And then I have several questions from Godwin. I mean, Godwin, in case we run out of time and don't get to answer all your questions, I'll prioritize like a couple. I guess the last one, I'll just read it out loud and Shin, you can take them. When using serverless function, would you recommend using database connection style or a TiDB data service? Since there is no pooling advantage when using serverless functions.
Right. Yeah, that's really great question, and I'm so happy that Godwin is leveraging the TiDB data service today. So yeah, it really so I guess when you are talking about serverless functions, I would assume you are referring to the Lambda function or similar technology. So I would say you can use build application in either way. And for the long term, I would say for the long term strategy, we are thinking TiDB service, data service is something we'd like to recommend in the future. In that case, you can just use our HTTP endpoints easily integrate into your Lambda function. That would be much easier for you to utilize the resource in the TiDB serverless, TiDB cloud clusters. And most importantly, we are adding more functionalities into the data service. And you don't need to handle lots of overhead in the past if you are using a traditional database connection style. But the one thing I like to highlight here at this moment, right now, TiDB service is still in beta stage. So if you are thinking, but TiDB serverless itself is GA. So if you are running this thing just for experimental, definitely feel free to try the TiDB serverless. But if you are running something more critical, I would like to recommend the database connection style at this moment. And yeah, feel free to reach out to us, and we'd like to help to provide as many guidance as we can to help you to run applications with best practice.
Yeah, great. I think another quick question might be from Godwin. And Godwin, I mean, we apologize. Like Boshin and I said, just find us on Slack if you're not able to go through all your questions today. But I think one of the questions you asked was, is there a limit on the number of database connections with TiDB serverless?
Yeah, there is. So the actual numbers will be published on our TiDB Serverless FAQ. We are working on those details at this moment. It's not published yet, but we are refreshing the documentation for that. So there are two types of more. Let me illustrate this one with more details. So when you sign up as a free cluster, as a user utilize the free clusters, you basically get more limitations on in terms of connection numbers. But if you start to bind your credit card and you set up a spending limit, you will get actual quota for that. And the actual numbers will be published on our FAQ website later. I cannot share the number now, but definitely check it out for that. Yeah, that is the answer.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, so one other question is, I mean, if somebody has like several data applications that are running on TiDB Cloud today, like what type of applications are better suited for migrating first to serverless or evaluating first to serverless? Is there like application characteristics that you can look at to see that maybe you want to prioritize moving to serverless before others?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the very beginning, I actually
Mm,
shared the
mm,
patterns we learned from the customers.
mm,
So one of the major thing, I think, uh, choosing different technology is kind of a trade-off for you, for all types of users. If you are trying to prioritize the cost effectiveness, if you don't want to over provision your resources, if you want to faster time to market, definitely start with TiDB Serverless. But if you are thinking that you have, if you have a very dedicated, let's say, SRE team, and you can handle the underlying infrastructure by yourselves, and you believe that you need more control of the underlying hardware resources, you want to customize some of the needs for yourself, definitely leverage some of the dedicated cloud offerings like TiDB Dedicated, or TiDB self-hosted, hosted by yourself on the cloud providers. So we do have documentation talking about different deployment options and the feature priority among them, differences, and what should be your strategy to choose from different offerings. Definitely check that out. If you have if you are still hesitate between different options, definitely send us an email. We will have colleagues to work with you together to select the best option for you.
cool. Yeah, I think we're at the top of the hour. So, yeah, like I said, please feel free to follow up with us on a Slack channel with additional questions. And thanks again, Shin, for doing a wonderful job. And I'm sure we'll be inviting you back for more virtual meetups in the future. So
Sure. Yeah.
that
Hope you guys
that
not get tired of me. I'm
no
showing my
no
face every time.
no. It's been a pleasure. So, all right. So thanks everybody for joining in and all your questions. And again, apologies if you're unable to get through all of them. But
Yeah.
we'll
Let's capture the questions, and we will have
yeah
emails to follow up with all the
yeah.
questions here.
Yeah, after the webinar, I'll get a report of the Q&A. So I think there are 4 questions that we haven't been able to address, and then we'll try to publish them on Slack and other channels. So thanks again, everybody. Hope if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, hopefully you're enjoying your summer, and we'll do this again soon.